a little bit before, not just a bam answer. And I said, oh, what's happening? And I actually went and paid. I went to pay for one course in England, and pay for a course for me is a big thing because I'm used to free, because I'm the facilitator or I'm involved in something. But I wanted to make sure that I was absolutely up to date. So I went, paid for this course, listened to them, found that I was absolutely up to date. There was no issue. And then I continued. But if you're not sure, re-examine yourself, go back in. Like I say, there's nothing like research, nothing like it. That's how you know. And that helps give you the confidence. So you won't be like all those people that do all this. Oh, I feel that it is so, or I am certain that it is so. Certainty premised on nothing at all. It must be premised on something. And again, for the ChatGPT people, you can train your chat to be that way. Like my chat cannot give me an answer without giving me references. So it gives me the references and I click on the references. So that is what I'd say.
Thank you so much, man. I'm sure you still cross-check the references because you're not ChatGPT. So
I do. So it's good. It's really great, but it's more a tool that you use to communicate with, so there's a back and forth. And then it comes back and you say, oh, but you're wrong on this, and says, oh, yes, I apologize, not so. And then gives you that. So you move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's very inspiring. And I think, again, people need to know, like you said, ChatGPT has adapted to your preferences. So
Oh, yes.
it almost thinks like you because it knows
Yes.
it must give you the references, the sources.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor.
I don't ask a single question. Now, even sometimes I don't even want the reference. And it shows you its thinking pattern.
Yes.
So you can see that, oh, I have to check this. No, it's not this. No, it's this. So beautiful. We are fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Margaret. Please stay on for the Q&A while we move on to, I know you're very busy. We've taken your time for this period. But we'll move on to the next speakers, and I'm sure the attendees will have questions towards you. So please stay on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you. So we'll move on to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have some questions for you because your story, I mean, every time I read it, I'm wowed. I'm just wowed. And it's inspiring. Inspiring as a professional, as a mother. No, it's very inspiring. So well done. So I would just pull up your questions if you give me 1 minute. I don't know why my system is a bit slow. Okay, so Emmanuel, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm just putting up the questions. Just give me a few minutes. Never mind. Let me try to use my other device. Okay, hold on. So Emmanuel.
Yes, ma'am.
At the age of 13, you built your first, that is really inspiring. So what inspired your journey into renewable energy innovation? What inspired that journey?
Okay, first and foremost,
can you try to speak up a bit, maybe increase your volume?
Can you hear me?
It's a bit, it sounds like you're in the background.
Yeah, it's about raining here. I'm in a workspace here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's already raining. I don't know if you can still hear me very well.
We can hear you, but it's a bit strained. But go on and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. I'll try to be audible. So the question you asked is not far-fetched. I think what actually led to that inspiration was basically the lack of electricity as a student while growing up. So I would come back home in the night and we had only just one lantern. This the call it Amunyanya in our place in Benue. So, and my elder sister happens to be a fashion designer. So, after dinner, both of us will be fighting for the lantern. So, she wanted to use it to make her fashion wears, while on the other end, I want to use it to break, also to do my assignments. So, we usually have this tussle every night. One night, I decided to. There was this night I said, okay, I'm going to do my own lantern. So it was just more of a spark of anger. So I was coming back from school and there was this electronic shop. So one woman that sells electronics. So at the waste bin, I saw discarded leg lamps. And so I approached him, I asked him if I can pick them. I said, go ahead. So some of the Tiger batteries there, I picked them. And came back immediately, dropped my bag, went to nearby, get bamboo. So I would connect the batteries in series, then without the basic knowledge of electronics. So then I would put the wires at the terminal and negative terminal. So I'll use my thumb to see the batteries are still working. So if I'm shocked, I'll say, okay, that means the batteries are working. So that was how I was able to kind of like test. Then the LED lamps, I would start pointing the two wires because they already have electricity in them. So if I keep doing, I'll keep doing that. Sometimes it takes me about 30 minutes. So wherever the light comes up, I will just mark the two spots. So and then I didn't even have understanding of soldering iron. So what I would basically do most times is I would just buy chewing gum, I would chew it and then use it as my glue to hold the wires. Then tie the lights with the bump. Using to then at a point, I didn't even know about switch then. So I would just remove the negative terminal at the back. If I want to, probably maybe if I'm not using it, I'll just remove the negative terminal. Then in the night, if I want to use it, I would attach it back and tie it. So as usual, my sister was expecting me to still fight her that night. And she noticed I was in the room. I didn't even mind her. So she was curious and she woke up to me and was like, where did you steal this light from? I was like, no, I built it. And so I noticed the change how she related with me because she noticed that I was able to now do something that I don't depend on. And from there, I was able to build for my friends, then build one for my mom then. And I noticed something at that moment. A lot of people, they're actually asking me to do for them. And I realized, okay, that means it was actually a big problem because having access to electricity then was a big luxury for us. And it was just more of like try and error method at that point till when I graduated. I wanted to further to study electrical because I noticed that I had technical skill in terms of building stuff. It was more like being stubborn because I usually run away from home in the morning. On weekends, we go out with my friends and we build stuff. And then it looks more of like I was just exploring my abilities with them. So I applied for mechatronics and I was denied. But before then, I already started building a Python wheel for hydro turbine. Then it was more of like I wanted to build a hydro turbine. That was actually the first renewable energy innovation that I learned personally. Then when I got rejected, that was 2021. I said, okay, I was going to do this by myself. That was the promise I made. I came to school with my Python with the prototype I made. Then I was taken to the other department, which is the education department. I was like, I wanted to study electrical, and now they're giving me education. I don't know if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me? It's already raining here. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so and I started learning about hydro turbines then ASU strike came in 2022 and stayed home for about 8 months. So I used that. That was the moment that changed the course of my career. Because I was just home, and sometimes I usually see this heavy wind during rainy season, just like what we're having now. And I was like, can't we generate electricity from the wind? And that was how I started learning about wind turbines. I started learning about wind turbines. I started making research. I joined some of the groups on Facebook, DIY wind turbine makers, and they're mostly their international community. So I see how they build their turbines and they report on the group. And I was like, okay, let me try out something. And I think the first thing that suffered from me there was our sewer bottles. All of the bottles, I had to cut them. And I use it because even when I was still so, I could remember some of our electronics, like our DVD, I spoiled it trying to get the DC motor. Because just of recent, I told my mom about it. And so, so now it was just more of trying to see what they are building over there. And I built it without any generator. I put it into test and it was actually spinning. I started it. And I was impressed with the fact that I did something that was actually working. Then the next step now was to attach a generator to turbine. So I posted on the group that I needed support because at that period, all the experiment was actually sponsored by my own finance. So sometimes I would save for about 3 months to just buy an electronics that would burn within 2 seconds or 3 minutes because I didn't have knowledge of how to use them then. But that learning shaped my experience in a way. So I built, so one man from Netherlands then, he now said he was going to sponsor the a hoverboard motor. So I think it cost about 10,000 naira. So he sponsored it and I bought the generator and I reported back to him. I showed him the generator and he was like, okay, cool. That you should attach it to that, see the performance. So open it to this for fun. I told them to help me open it. I not knowing that it's actually aluminium. So I asked the guy to use chisel to separate the magnet and the mosquito as the copper wire. So when he did that, he broke the generator. And I was standing. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just pick them. I picked it and for about 2 days, I was sitting on the post. I was like, this thing took me a long time to be able to get a generator. And in trying to open it, I have already spoiled it. And I wanted to give up at that moment, but I was like, let me see if I can rebuild it. I think that was what brought about building my own generator myself. So I scavenged the magnets. I keep asking a lot of questions. Then I was very curious. I asked a lot of questions from those who are already doing it. I started building my own generator. So fast forward, came back to school, went to program.
I mean, Emmanuel, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I cannot hear you properly. Can everyone else hear Emmanuel?
I enabled you now to buy some equipment. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, Emmanuel, I'll move on to the next question. I think you've even answered some of my questions. And I think people should take the lessons from what you've stated as your journey. You were curious. You did not give up despite the challenges. You know, one thing that really gets to me, I don't see one
thing. Can you hear me, please?
Emmanuel, I can hear you. I'm going to ask you another question shortly. I said we are really inspired. I like your curiosity, your resilience, agility. You did not give up. You kept pushing forward. You didn't see the challenges as problems. You surmounted them. That was really inspiring. One thing that gets to me is not being able to find a solution within a problem. So we all know, unfortunately, the power situation in Nigeria. I think individually, whilst we are pushing for the national solution, I always encourage individuals to be their own solution. You cannot come to work and say, oh, or you're working very remotely and you say, sorry, there's no power. There are other means. You can find a way to ensure that you are plugged in and connected. So your story is really inspiring. It shows that if you put your mind to something, you will definitely achieve it. The curiosity for me is really important, and the resilience. So what do you, you've mentioned how you moved, you've mentioned the challenges. What role can innovation play in addressing energy access challenges across Africa? What role can innovation play? And while you're answering that, please also let us know what skills, mindsets, and habits have been the most important in your journey. You said some, and I've pulled out some: curiosity, resilience, determination. So maybe you will just skip that one. Maybe you can just answer, what role can innovation play? And then what advice would you offer young professionals that are interested in clean energy entrepreneurship? Some people may be wondering, where do I start from? How do I go about it? What advice will you give them? But first, let us know what role innovation can play in addressing energy access, and then you can briefly give us in 5 minutes your advice. Thank you. So, Emmanuel, are you still with us? Oh, I think Emmanuel is having network issues. We'll wait for him to join, but let's move on to Nkem while he joins, and we can take his advice once he comes back. So Nkem, welcome. Are you there? Please confirm you're with me.
Hi, Mark. Yes, good afternoon. I'm here.
Nkem, like I said, is an ambassador of electricity lawyer. She did a lot at the beginning stage, a lot of data analysis. I'm sure she will tell you a lot of pressure was put on her. Today, not a brick and mortar lawyer. She's a data analyst. She can pick up an Excel sheet and analyze data. Nkem, welcome. I would ask you a few questions. You can keep them brief because of time so that we can take questions and answers. So what inspired you, what attracted you to legal practice and the broader energy sector? And then how did you then navigate from education, so uni, law school, into professional practice? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a very, that's an all-encompassing question. Okay, so I think basically my interest in energy practice and anything oil and gas started from especially my second year at the University of Lagos. I think it was just the whole idea of trying to understand certain concepts that I originally, was confused about. So what does this mean? Why what's the whole fuss about energy? What's the whole fuss about electricity? And it was also at a point where the Petroleum Industry Act as it is today was being developed at the time. It was a bill at the time, and there was there was a lot of discussions around it, and I just really wanted to know more. And prior to then, I had done a lot of research, but not in energy focused areas. It was just, basically just trying to get knowledge around a number of my courses in school. And then I remember I wrote an article one time, and I wanted to use this article to apply for something, but at the end of the day, it didn't fall. What I wanted to apply for, I didn't get it at the time. And I saw an application, a call for application for an internship at the time. And I was like, oh, okay. It was something relating to the energy space. And it came at the right time because that was what I really, that was what I was really interested in. Yes. So when I decided to apply for it. And the funny thing is, I had used that same article that initially didn't get me what I wanted at the time to apply for this. I mean, reading the article now, I know that it was one of my most horrible articles that I had written. But I used that to apply for that, and I got it. And it was so surprising because it just felt like it was what I had, I was supposed to be doing at that time. It felt like it was part of an underlying purpose that yes, this was, something that was, a good trajectory for my career. And just having that mindset that, okay, the curiosity to know more and putting in all that, that's energy into doing more research and just putting myself out there really helped me along the way. And just by getting that opportunity in 2019, it opened more ways, more opportunities for me. And I got to meet a lot of people. I would say my career took a very, a good turn basically, because just from that small opportunity, I got to meet more people who mentored me and made sure I was put on the right track, basically. Yes, so and that's also because of that opportunity, I was able to meet Mrs. Ehamo, like one of the most amazing people that I always, take exception to in my career when I'm, grateful to people, right? She's someone who I admire so much and I have learned a lot under her. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So I think this just, kind of just, makes me believe that opportunity should never be wasted, because you really don't know where you might meet someone who would just really help you. And I think it was during Mrs. Ehama's presentation when she was saying that you should always try as much as possible to network with people, because you do not know like where this person may come in handy in your career, or just something that this person might say that might just put you on the right track. So yes, that was very important for me, especially for my navigation from the educational space to professional practice. Because like I said, I started the whole energy practice thing. I did not know anything in the energy space. It was just out of curiosity to know more. And I'm so grateful for how that journey has shaped me into the person I am now. I remember one time I was having a conversation with Mrs. Ehamo in my current my current place where I work, and how people my colleagues are always telling me, oh, you're good at this, how do you know this for such a young lawyer, how do you know certain concepts that a lot of people do not even know at very advanced stages of their life. And I'm like, it's my mentors. Like I was able to put in the work at a very, even at the time when I was still in university, and I didn't have like a professional degree, but just those internships, just, oh, this little internship here, this workshop here, this seminar here, everything just culminated me into this person that I am today. And yes, if I'm to, just put everything in a summary, I would say that it was mostly just, curiosity, and then mentorship, and leveraging those opportunities that I had at a very early stage. Yes, thank you. I hope that
Thank you so much.
answers the
You
question.
answered the next one in terms of mentorship, networking, and continuous learning.
Yes, ma'am.
So I would just ask you what challenges you faced as an early career professional, the lessons you've learned, and what steps young professionals can take to improve their prospects and build credibility.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so as I mentioned, I think the first thing that, really that was very much of a challenge for me at, the early stage was just understanding concepts. The energy space is a very niche area. It's something that you cannot just pivot into without actually doing, like, taking the brunt to do the actual work. So you need to take the time to do proper research. And it's not just, as Professor Morabi mentioned, it's not just, oh, a desktop research, just check, what's online, what's on ChatGPT. You have to actually do proper research. Like you have to read books. Even as a solicitor in my current law firm, I'm reading books. There's sometimes that I take, this Peter Roberts oil and gas book, just to understand basic concepts of the oil and gas space, because every day you have to evolve. So that challenge, basically understanding concepts and also trying to apply these concepts, right? It's not an easy feat. So what really helps me is doing the appropriate research and also asking questions, because no man is an island, right? Even though there's sometimes that you read some concepts and you still don't understand. And that's where mentorship comes in. That's where your network, the caliber of people that you have within your network. They have to be people that also understand and maybe are experts in that field. So that's why we have these experts, right? So that you can always reach out to them. Oh, I've read this, but it doesn't quite make sense. What does this mean? And then they'll put you through, right? So I think, yeah, my challenge was understanding those concepts and also applying them to my major practice. And what helped me was research and my, the caliber of people I had in my mentorship space. So yes, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nkem. And I think my last question will be, looking back, what advice will you give your younger self?
Thank you so much, Rat. Well, I'm still young. Well, yes, to my much, much younger self, I would say speak more. Yes, I would say speak more because I think I held back a lot of knowledge. And it was mostly from a place of, oh, what if I'm wrong? What if I don't know what I'm saying? What if people laugh at me? Because I just always never wanted to be wrong. And because of that, I held back a lot of myself, from doing certain things. I also did not take a lot of opportunities because I did not believe in myself. And if I'm to go back and do things better, I would say I would put myself more out there. I would speak more. I would, be more curious and learn more, put in more efforts in, doing things, properly, and also reaching out to a lot more people that I was scared to reach out to for networking. So yes, that is the major advice I'll give to myself. Thank you so much, Ma. Yes, Ma. Sorry, Mr. Hammer, you're muted. I
Okay,
don't
yes,
know.
thank you, Nkem. That was inspiring. You're still
Yes,
young.
Ma.
You're still on the journey. It's
Yes,
very
Ma.
interesting when you said you came at a time when you were the petroleum industry bill
Yes,
you worked on, and Professor Margaret, who worked on the bill, is also
exactly.
getting
The full cycle moments for me.
Thank you for
Yes,
that.
Ma. Thank you so much, Ma.
Emmanuel,
Yes.
please, can you notify or indicate if you can hear me?
I don't know, please come again.
I can't really hear you. You sound faint. I think we only had one more question, but can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You sound faint. You're sounding a bit faint. Okay, I think we'll move to the Q&A, and then if there are any questions, you can then answer from Q&A. So please feel free to raise up your hand if you want to speak, and also put your questions in the chat, please, for any of the panelists. Okay, I think someone, just give me 1 minute, please. So somebody has their hand up. I would, Grace, please, I think you can go ahead. If you can unmute yourself, you can go ahead and speak. I'm not the host, so I can't unmute you. Host, please, can you unmute Grace so she's able to speak? Please unmute Grace so we can take a question. And please also feel free to type your questions in the chat. Feel free to type your questions in the chat. Please unmute Bayatiri Grace, host. I'll check the chat to see if we have any questions. Sorry, I'm just prompting the host so they can allow you speak. I can't see if you're able to speak because I'm not the host. Host, please unmute our attendee who wants to speak. And then others, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. Grace is unable to speak yet. Okay, please give just, yes, you can post your questions, please, pending when the host on. Please, Grace, also check if you are able to, because sometimes they may have allowed you to speak to unmute, and so try to also check intermittently. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, ma.
Okay, yes, yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, first of all, for making this session available to we. I'm an undergraduate in my final year, so this session is very, very, it has been very, very insightful and helpful for me. And then I want to thank also the speakers. I've learned a lot today. I have two questions. First, one would be to Professor Omorogbe, which would be, I don't know, what mistakes, because she's somebody with a lot of experience in the field, in the energy sector field. So what mistakes do she see young people constantly make, especially in this era? And then what can young people do to avoid these mistakes and set themselves apart from others? And then to my second question, it will be to, I don't know if it's Miss or Mrs.
Emmanuel.
Ikem. Miss Ikem.
Okay, in camp. Okay.
Yes. So I want to ask that if, for instance, you are a final year student, I know you're done and everything, but what would you actively do in this 1 year or 2 years before and after law school to accelerate your growth in the energy sector? Did you get my question?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
we
very
got your
much.
questions. Yes, thank you. You can put down your hand. Professor Maragbe, please, are you with us, ma? So Professor Maragbe, if she's still online, she can take the first question directed at her, and then Nkem will take hers. Thank you.
Okay, what mistakes do young persons make, or maybe what mistakes did I make as a young person? Not sure which, but anyway, I think the first mistake is maybe not being bold enough. And the second mistake is not being knowledgeable enough. And they both go together. So I would say, yeah, so I would say those are the mistakes. So how you have to, boldness is easier said than done, but I have to say for many young people, you have to make sure that your boldness doesn't come out as rudeness or forwardness, because it depends. Older people can be very funny, and I think I belong in that category sometimes as well. But that is what I'd say. But I would tell you something. The third thing is maybe they're often not hardworking enough. I think that the churches have this myth, brought in this myth of work not being necessary. But I think with those three things, they'll make a big mistake. They will absolutely set you apart when you do certain things that will make people be astounded. They will absolutely set you apart. I know there's a particular young person, if she doesn't look for me, I will look for her, because she has done some things that have just absolutely astounded me. And basically it has been this going the extra mile. She made some big mistakes, but hey, you'll overlook those mistakes because what you can see is a person who's really determined to learn, who's very, very bright, and who has a lot of promise. So I think that is really, that is my answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Emerigbe. I think the last part really, that part about having people you can reach out to and reach out to you. Like, for example, in Kem, who luckily is here, is someone I would always reach out to because he displayed competence, availability, knowledge, curiosity. So I think, like Professor Emerigbe said, you have to, build that knowledge and, and put yourself out there. So be confident, be knowledgeable, and put yourself out there. And Professor Emerigbe, please, there's a question in the chat that I would like you to take.
Okay.
The attendee stated that Professor Emerigbe stated that we should learn about hydrocarbons and climate finance. So moving beyond just, the oil and gas and other areas. She says sometimes it seems like a lot and she's overwhelmed. What would be the most essential skills to learn? This is from Josephine, and she's open to volunteering in the climate space, but she hasn't found any. How would she find these opportunities?
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know. Maybe we can talk after with
Okay.
Yeah, and then I can, because again, it depends on you. Where do you start? You start really from the very beginning, which is, I don't know what your learning curve is, but from the very beginning is what is a hydrocarbon? So you start off from that. What is its importance? Why is the oil and gas industry so important? What about the trade? You ask about all those things. You start at 101 stage. Why is finance so necessary? You find that finance is as necessary as the actual work that is being done. You need the finance people as much or even more than you need the engineers nowadays. So I think that is, but overwhelmed, we all get overwhelmed at some point. You take a deep breath, go and rest for a day or two and come back to the same thing. So that's just all you have to do.
Thank you, Professor Emerigbe. I think that is really, for me, I was going to say that just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's AI. You can prompt it, put up things for you to read. But please also rely on, as Professor Emerigbe said during the session, research. Don't just look at Wikipedia and take what is there. There is a vast amount of articles, research publications. Professor Emerigbe has written a lot of publications. You can read her publication. There are also other authors. There's so much information. I'm sure that's why you even feel overwhelmed. So, but you need to draw back, like Professor Emerigbe said, relax, one step at a time. You can't read everything or know everything in a day. So thank you, Professor Emerigbe. And as for volunteering, I think these opportunities, sometimes you have to go after them. You can check on LinkedIn, but most times you reach out to some of these connections and companies and offer yourself as a volunteer, offer your volunteering services. But again, you have to offer, even volunteering, you need to offer value. So you can't just offer for the sake of offering. What are you bringing? And I know people that have, through volunteering, they've gotten bigger opportunities, gotten the jobs within those places they volunteered. So prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. We will share our career toolkit. It should help you prepare yourself over 30, 60, 90 days. And then you can also, like Professor Emerigbe said, feel free to always reach out, and then we can take on any questions. Nkem, if you can just for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just answer your question, the question that was directed to you. I hope you still remember the question.
Yes, okay. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, can I be heard?
Yes, I can hear you. Please.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think you've pretty much also made reference to what I was going to tell Grace. So basically, as a final year student who, is probably waiting for law school or just trying to during the holiday period, I think what I would advise basically is internships. So I think what people should know is internships do not have to be um exactly or entirely structured. You can have a 3-day internship, you can have a 2-week internship, you can have depending on what you want really and what you're going for. But just make sure you put yourself out there. Make sure you like Mrs. Ehama said, reach out to people that you want to work with. Tell them the value that you want to offer and what you want to learn. I know that I don't know that anybody would beat you for saying that, oh, you want to volunteer, or anybody is going to say, oh, why are you texting me or anything. The worst thing anybody can say to you is no. And you should be ready to just say, okay, even if anybody tells me no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep looking for what I want to do. So internships, I know a lot of people and also if you're probably the shy type and you don't want to just go after people, what you can do is you can do things to put yourself out there by writing articles. I know a number of my friends that write articles on LinkedIn, and because of that, they get the visibility that they need. And employers reach out to them and say, oh, I like this article that you wrote. I want to work with you. Oh, I like your understanding of this area of law and I want to work with you. Just by that article that they wrote. So so putting yourself out there, reaching out to people for internships, and also mentorship is important. If you have a mentor that knows your capabilities and know the value that you can bring, they would all give you opportunities. So yes, those things will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nkem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. So we'll just have some closing remarks from our panelists. Professor Margaret, please, in a minute or two, if you can give us your closing advice, we would really appreciate it. Thank you. Professor Margaret, is Professor Margaret still with us? Let me check.
Sorry.
Okay, yes.
Hello, sorry, what did you say?
The closing remarks, just in a minute or two. That's closing.
Oh, well, to me, it's been a good session. There's a lot out there for people who want to take whatever they need from it and use it to their advantage, whether it is within the energy area or even in any other area of their careers. But I just want to encourage everybody to persevere, stick through it, go through the overwhelming parts and the parts where you feel a bit low or it's too much, and move forward. Because if you stay the same in this day and age, you are not going to achieve or become what you need to be. There's too much happening now. You've got to be part of the happening, and you've got to be one of the moving parts. So that is what I will say. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Margaret. Nkem, we would like to hear from you.
Okay, so basically, I think what I would just say is be innovative, seek to know more. Do not be comfortable in being mediocre. Try as much as possible to stand out in every little way that you can. And yes, it would really help you along the way. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Emmanuel, are you with us?
Yes,
Can
still
give
here.
advice on young innovators. How did they go about it as your closing remark? That would be helpful.
Okay, I would say basically is to not wait for the perfect time. You just have to start, and when building, you should realize that you must become valuable to yourself first before you can become valuable to others. I think that's something that always motivates me. I don't wait for people to cheer me up before this. I'm my biggest fan. So keep building and keep refining, keep learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure having you all. Start from where you are. Don't be afraid, and keep learning, unlearning, and relearning. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you. And like I said, we'll be sharing the career toolkit to your respective email addresses after the program. Thank you and have a good afternoon. We're actually preparing for the next. Another way to learn, if you didn't register, I will be undertaking a master class by 12 o'clock, which is in 9 minutes. So you can register. That's a way to learn, because I see a lot of comments and questions on how do I venture into the energy sector? How do I start? Mary, how do I venture into energy, oil and gas? Where to start is to learn, build your knowledge, and then reach out for internship opportunities. Like I said, you can either offer your voluntary services by reaching out to companies and individuals, or looking out on professional platforms for such opportunities that arise. But we are going to be taking on the master class in the next few minutes, so you can register to attend. That is a way to learn about about the industry. So thank you all and have a good afternoon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, everyone.